Good morning. This is a regularly scheduled meeting, Board of Fire Commissioners, Tuesday, December 19th, and it's about 9:05. So, flag salute, 1 minute silence. Yeah, we should probably do roll call.
Okay, let the record reflect Commissioners Ivada, Glazier, Hara, and Woods are present, and we have a quorum.
Thank you. We did flag salute first today, just to mix things up. Commissioner comments?
Oh, good morning. Like I said, first I'd like to offer my condolences to the department and to the family of Captain Stewart. And secondly, I would like to just comment on a few events that I attended. UFLAC had a great party, powerful party. It was a lot of important people there. Shows that they're a real player. And I attended the MySafe LA holiday party. This is holiday season. Happy holidays to everybody also. As you can see, everyone's having a holiday party. But I did go to the MySafe LA, and that was, I enjoyed meeting, just having time to talk to some of the members of MySafe LA staff without being at a workshop or whatever. They had great food there, too. A lot of homemade stuff. And then I went to the LAFD holiday party where they honored the staff, and that was really good. I always liked that party because I can actually see staff members that I normally don't see. So I can walk from table to table and talk to the guys over in the shop and the people that work in other departments on the FIG building and wherever. So it was always great to be able to greet them and say, and where do you work and what do you do? And then it's always fun. Just talking with them. Some of them I see and have seen before, and so they remember. And we have little things that we talk about. And Thursday, I'm going to be going on a toy run with the firefighters to pick up and deliver toys. So that sounds very exciting. There are a lot of great things going on. And I hope everyone has a very safe holiday.
So moving on to report of the fire chief.
Thank you, Madam President. We've been extremely busy, as you know. In the last few weeks, we've had the Creek Fire, brush fire, and the Skirball brush fire. We had multiple meetings out there and press conferences with the mayor and the assisting agencies, and I was very, very proud of the men and women of our department. We had 2 major brush fires within the city of Los Angeles, and we were supporting the Ventura Fire, the Thomas Fire, with strike teams at the same time. Under very difficult weather conditions, Santa Ana's, and those are not projected to go away. So I'm just proud to say that we handled all of that, and we maintain our daily average call load of 1,300 incidents per day. And to me, that's an amazing accomplishment. And I posted on a message to all our members last week, pictures of the fire and how proud I was. So we should all be very proud of our department. Now, in terms of events, on December 6th, I went to the Sertoma Toys for Needy Children silent auction and luncheon at our training center. That's a great annual event. All the proceeds go to buy more toys. On December 8th, I did an interview with KPCC, and they wanted to talk about drones. And when we announced it at one of our press conferences, we had numerous requests from multiple media outlets. And in fact, last week, I think it was Friday last week, we facilitated show and tell with multiple media outlets at the Skirball fire. The drones actually allow us to take pictures from the sky to assess property damage, number one. And number two, we can detect hotspots by using the FLIR, forward-looking infrared camera from the sky. We don't need to use our helicopter to do that. In the past, for the La Tuna fire, we flew our helicopter and we rented that piece of equipment. The cost of that was extremely expensive. We've replaced that with drones, and we're going to save a lot of money. On that same day, we had a council presentation for Ms. Karen Wagner. She is retiring as the foundation president. Karen has been amazing. We're going to see her again later this week. But as I reflect on the things we've accomplished in the last few years, without Karen and the foundation support, it would not have happened. So sorry to see her go, but we wish her well in her retirement, and we're looking forward to working with her replacement. Also on that day, we had the UFLAC holiday celebration at the UFLAC office. I did see the commissioner there and others. Very nice event. The mayor was there, as well as several other politicians, and very, very happy and joyous event. The following day at the JW Marriott at LA Live, there was the Relief Association holiday party. I stopped by there for a little while. We have a lot of recent retirees who are very active in the Relief Association, so it's nice to catch up with them. Then on December 12th, last week, we had our annual holiday appreciation luncheon at Hodgkins, and that's the party that Commissioner Woods Gray was talking about. That's an annual event where all the chief officers provide lunch and serve lunch to all the civilian employees. There was probably 250, 300 people there, and it's an opportunity to catch up and to say thank you. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. So moving on to verbal report by the department on significant incidents, and we've had a few from December 5th to December 18th.
Morning, Commissioners, Chief, Council. Chief Deputy Al Poyer from Emergency Operations. As the Fire Chief mentioned, we had a couple of significant fires over the past 2 weeks. We had the Creek Fire and the Skirball Fire. And this is in addition to the fire, we had the La Tuna Fire back in September. It's been an extraordinary season, and Deputy Chief Chuck Butler is going to come up and talk about the Skirball Fire, and Deputy Chief Trevor Richmond is going to come up and talk about the Creek Fire. But I just wanted to take a minute and talk about what an extraordinary season it is with the Santa Ana wind conditions that we have and the drought that we've suffered for the past several years. Has, in addition to the dry weather, the humidity values are record lows. It's further depreciated the values in our fuels, our plant life, and it's subjected us to an extraordinary fire season. What you see happening up in Ventura and Santa Barbara County with the Thomas Fire, over 270,000 acres, one of the largest fires in California's history. In addition to handling the fires that we handled here in the city of Los Angeles, we also sent resources. We contributed to 3 strike teams with a total of 11 engines and additional overhead personnel, more than 50 staff from the department, while we were battling the 2 incidents here. And what I want to say is that they have a phrase where we talk about there's only one person can be on the nozzle, and they say that literally, figuratively, and metaphorically, is that while the people are out there on the front lines from emergency operations handling those fires, this entire department steps up. And what you see is the administrative operations staff with Chief Mathis and his entire staff with Chief Crowley and Chief Rideout. They staff the Department Operations Center. You see the entire planning section from our department deploys out to the fire. You see the community liaison staff with Peter Sanders and Captain Eric Scott and David Ortiz come out. The fire chief and Graham Everett out there interacting, coordinating, and working with the stakeholders and the elected officials. It takes an entire effort of the entire team of the organization. And when you saw last Sunday, Corey Iverson, an engineer from CAL FIRE, was killed at the Thomas Fire, and they took Corey home to San Diego, and his family and friends in a processional came through the city of Los Angeles, and they came from the Calabasas area through Woodland Hills, all the way across the San Fernando Valley, through the city of Burbank, Glendale, past Eagle Rock and into Pasadena, and we accompanied that procession, and we stood by and paid our respects. And it just offers us a stark reminder of the dangers that the men and women of this organization face every day. And I will tell you that in my 32nd year of this organization, I'm just extraordinarily proud of the way that the entire team stepped up. The deputy chiefs that were handling the Creek Fire out in the valley with Chief Richmond and his team, the chief legal assisting with running the entire organization as a DDC. Chief Butler stepped up at the Skirball Fire. It was just the entire team came to bear and handled those incidents, and you as a commission should be extraordinarily proud of this time in the organization and what these men and women have accomplished. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to Chief Butler and Chief Richmond. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Deputy Chief Trevor Richmond, Operations Valley Bureau. As Chief Poyer stated, on December 5th at approximately 3:45 in the morning, a vegetation fire started in the Angeles National Forest in the Gold Creek area. Because of the conditions and the 30 to 40 mile an hour winds with up to 80 mile an hour gusts, the fire quickly spread towards city property. This particular fire was entirely within the mutual threat zone for the foothill. And within that mutual threat zone, first responders from both LA County, Angeles National Forest, and Los Angeles City quickly descended on the incident to protect the structures that were in the way. Within several hours, we were in a solid and robust unified command posture with LA County, Angeles National Forest, the Los Angeles Fire Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, and CAL FIRE San Bernardino unit. It was quickly decided that this fire would probably exceed into several days, which would be an extended TAC operation, and it was decided and a request was made to order a CAL FIRE incident management team to assist in the management of the incident. Just a few data points for this particular fire. The fire ran approximately 5 days. All in total, it was 15,619 acres. Homes within the city that were destroyed or damaged was at 100. Homes within LA County that were damaged or destroyed was 104. There were 3 reportable injuries, 2 of which were LA City firefighters. And at the height of the incident, we had approximately 2,300 personnel, and that was day 3 of the fire, 2,300 personnel fighting this fire. Like Chief Poyer stated, this really was a collaborative effort with our unified partners. It will continue to be a collaborative effort with our unified partners going into the raining season as we discuss mitigation efforts for mud and debris flow. That completes my report on the Creek Fire if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Good morning. Deputy Chief Charles Butler, Operations West Bureau. In the early morning hours of Wednesday, December 6, while crews were still battling the Creek Fire, a second fire broke out in the Sepulveda Pass. The Skirball Fire, as it was later named, lit up the morning sky for commuters traveling through the southern end of the pass. At the time the fire started, the department was in drawdown due to the large resource commitment to the Creek Fire. We were also under a red flag warning that was set to expire that morning, but we still had winds blowing 15 to 20 miles an hour from the northeast down through the Sepulveda Pass. The fire quickly spread to the south along the freeway, and you probably saw some spectacular video footage. Everybody has their cell phone out while they're driving. Not sure what CHP thinks about that, but we saw quite a bit of footage of that entire hillside on the south portion there along the freeway on the east side lit up all the way from just below the Bel Air Crest area all the way down almost to Moraga Drive. It was quite spectacular. It also spread to the east into the neighborhoods along Casiano Road, Moraga Drive, and Linda Flora Drive, both lower and upper. Aircraft were diverted from the Creek Fire down to assist us at Skirball. We had a total of 3 LAFD water-dropping helicopters on the fire, along with our contract Type 1 helitanker. We had 2 water-dropping helicopters from LA County Fire as well assisting. And probably one of the first times on a fire that was solely in the city, we had 6 retardant-dropping fixed-wing aircraft from CAL FIRE assisting us with the firefight. Additionally, we had 80 engine companies on scene and a variety of specialized resources such as water tenders, bulldozers, and LA County and CAL FIRE hand crews. The fire ultimately burned 422 acres, destroyed 5 homes, 1 garage, 1 residential outbuilding, and damaged another 14 structures. We had a total of 3 injuries on the fire, none of them life-threatening. The valiant efforts of your Los Angeles firefighters kept the fire from extending down into the Roscoe area, and it kept it from jumping the 405 freeway. And when I arrived on scene shortly before sunrise and watching the sun come up, and you could see the smoke column bent with that Santa Ana wind pushing it directly across the 405 towards Getty Center, I did not think we would hold it from jumping the freeway. And once you get across the freeway, the values at risk over there, the Getty Center, Mount St. Mary's College, into Kinter Canyon, Mandeville Canyon, and on and on and on. So it was really a great effort by our firefighters. The fire was brought under control in just under 8 hours, and we got full containment on Friday, December 15th. The fire also marked the first use of our unmanned aerial vehicle. We deployed that the first morning. And then, as I mentioned, the first really successful use in recent times anyway of any fixed-wing aircraft on a fire solely within the city. So that concludes my report, and I will be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
I would just personally like to commend the department for the work that you did, because it was amazing watching on television. Everybody that I talked to in LA City, or in the country, as a matter of fact, were watching the fires. But you did an excellent job, and I was proud of you, because I knew that we did have, it really proved that we had the best. So thank you all. I mean, that's a really difficult job that you guys did, but you did it with so professionally, and I commend both teams.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
On all the fires.
On all the fires,
Thank you.
especially the ones in LA City.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. So now we have presentations. Oh, we have a report of the medical director? No? Yes.
Not quite the medical director, but Corey Rose, Assistant Chief in Emergency Medical Services Bureau. We have one incident to bring up on 12/17 just a couple days ago. Unfortunately, we had a wrong-way driver on the 210 freeway across the Wheatland, the Lakeview Terrace area, which ended up having 3 dead on arrival patients, unable to do anything for them, unfortunately. We were able to transport one of them to a local area trauma center. With the valiant efforts of our folks and everything they could try and do, they still weren't able to save that life, and that 4th patient ended up dying in the operating room. So it was an unfortunate incident, but we always, take care of our folks because of things they have to see. So there's always follow-up and taking care of our own folks and the families that are involved with that. End report.
Thank you. Moving on to presentations.
Good morning, Commissioners, Fire Chief Terraza, City Attorney Ms. Iniguez, Eric Scott, Fire Captain Paramedic Public Information Officer. This morning we are fortunate to have 2 separate presentations, both of which are cardiac arrest saves. During a heart attack, the chain of survival has various links that are vital to increasing a patient's chance of survival. So there's 5 essential links to this chain of survival. The first is immediate recognition of a cardiac arrest, and then subsequently activating the emergency response system. The second is early CPR, and we now have emphasis on chest compressions. The third is rapid defibrillation, and this can be done either by first responders or by bystanders. And then the fourth is advanced life support by paramedics, and the fifth is post-cardiac care. So this chain of survival worked wonderfully on July 19th, 2017. The incident was at 9:30 in the morning at LAX airport in a parking structure where a 45-year-old man was picking up his family at the airport and suffered a significant heart attack. The first chain of survival took place by family members. They immediately recognized that this cardiac arrest was taking place, and they activated the emergency response system by calling 911. Then Engine 51 and Rescue 95 were quickly dispatched to the Tom Bradley terminal, and there they found their patient, who was unconscious, not breathing, and no pulse. What the patient did have in his favor was bystanders were performing that second chain of survival, early CPR. Your LAFD firefighters then jumped into action. They took over CPR. They rapidly accomplished steps 3 and 4 of that chain of survival, which is rapid defibrillation. So they determined that that patient was in a lethal heart rhythm. They delivered a life-saving shock that really took this quivering, dying heart into more of an effective heartbeat. And then fourth chain of survival was that early advanced life support by our firefighter paramedics, who are the highest level of medical authority outside of a hospital setting, and they do wonderful things from managing airway intubation and IV and pharmacological interventions and much more. But what was the result? Well, the patient was conscious, breathing, and his heart was beating on his own by the time he was delivered to the emergency room, where that fifth step of the chain of survival took place, that post-cardiac arrest care. So this was an excellent example of how the chain of survival works and how it showcased one of the many examples of what the talented men and women of your Los Angeles Fire Department do every day. And so now we'd like to invite these members up to stand next to the podium, Firefighter William Collier and Firefighter Don Cunningham. And we'd like to thank you for your outstanding commitment and support, and we'd like to read the certificate. In recognition and sincere gratitude for your heroic courage, diligent efforts, and expedient assistance which directly resulted in life-saving of a 45-year-old man in full cardiac arrest on July 19, 2017 at the LAX Tom Bradley International Terminal. The Los Angeles Fire Department commends you for your extraordinary life-saving efforts to a citizen of the city of Los Angeles, presented this 19th day of December 2017, Ralph M. Terrazas, Fire Chief.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Not really.
I have yet to have somebody tell me they want to say a few words. I just asked them if they wanted to, but I have to say a few things. Yesterday, I just recertified my EMT, so I'm up to speed on CPR, number one. And as I think about all the things we've been doing as a department, I think about Pulse Point. I think about the pre-arrival instructions of our dispatchers at Metro, which start CPR earlier in that chain of survival. I think about our pilot programs at LAX and the SOBER unit in Skid Row. And the whole intent is to get the right resource there as fast as possible to save lives. That's our mission, to save lives and property. Sometimes it's brush fires, sometimes it's traffic accidents, sometimes it's doing CPR. And I'm very proud of the members behind me. They stepped up, they took on that mission, and we have a success story. We're not always successful, so when we are, we like to celebrate that and recognize the people that are involved. So to both of you, we're very, very proud of you. Here's your last chance. You want to say a few things?
Thank you for having us.
All right, good words. Good job.
Way to go. Very proud of you guys.
Yeah, let's take pictures.
The second presentation is yet another great example of a cardiac arrest save, but this time by an off-duty probationary firefighter. The event took place on October 23rd of this year in Fire Station 70's district. This was at a 24-hour fitness gym in Northridge. So probationary firefighter Alan Jansen was off duty, working out at the gym, and he heard some commotion that someone was in need of emergency aid. So he quickly left his workout station, he rushed over, and he encountered an 80-year-old male who was pulseless and non-breathing. But due to his training, he instinctively directed staff to call 911, who just happened to be his wife, who was employed by the gym, and he immediately started chest compressions. He also determined that the gym had an automated external defibrillator. So he correctly applied the pads, he turned it on, it was advised no shock was required, but to continue compressions. Intervening during a cardiac arrest is a race against time. Due to Mr. Jansen's immediate action, the patient not only regained consciousness, but was alert and actually speaking to the engine and rescue ambulance upon their arrival. The patient was transported to an area hospital. He went straight into the operating room where he actually went under another cardiac arrest, was resuscitated a second time, but now we're happy to state that he is safe at home and recovering. So paramedic firefighter Jansen is currently in his second assignment, and he and his wife are giving the ultimate gift to each other this holiday season. They're expecting twin boys on January 9th, a few weeks away. So this incident is a great example of how even our new members have excellent training and boldly step up to others who need help, whether they're on or off duty. And so we'd like to invite the honoree to come up and please stand by the podium. And the LAFD administration would like to recognize probationary firefighter Alan Jansen. We'll read the certificate. In recognition and sincere gratitude for your heroic courage, diligent efforts, and expedient assistance which directly resulted in saving the life of an 80-year-old man in full cardiac arrest on October 23, 2017 at the 1900 block of Nordhoff Street. The Los Angeles Fire Department commends you for your extraordinary life-saving efforts to a citizen of the city of Los Angeles, presented this 19th day of December 2017, Ralph M. Terrazas.
I know of this story. We kicked off CPR training week at Griffith Park Observatory last month, and I met Ellen for the first time there. Actually, the second time. The first time was graduation. Second time was at the press conference. And Ellen impressed me as a mature young man who was not afraid to get in front of the mic, which is kind of unusual because most of our young firefighters want to run away from mics and cameras. I can't say that I blame them. But he gave a very compelling story, and we wanted to motivate the viewers of this press conference to learn CPR. I'm very proud of the community risk reduction section who spent that entire week going throughout the city training people on hands-only CPR. And Ellen's story contributed to describing the importance of CPR to the public. So I'd like to turn it over for his second performance or appearance. No pressure, Alan. You got twins coming, so this is just a warm-up for what you're going to encounter. Alan, I'd like to hear a few words from you.
Thank you very much. I mean, first of all, I'm just humbled to be here, to be a member of this department. It took me about 9 years to finally get here, but I'm thankful for this opportunity and just to be at the right place at the right time. I'm thankful that this man is now doing well, home with his family for the holidays, and I look forward to being with my family and my wife and 2 twins on the way soon. So thank you again for this honor, and appreciate your time today.
So now we move on to the consent agenda items.
Okay, move items 4A through C. Move the recommendations for items 4A through C.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So our first regular agenda item is report by the department on the update of the redesign of the LA Fire Department youth programs.
Good morning, Commissioners, Fire Chief
morning.
Terrazas, City Attorney Ratfish, and Acela. My name is Christina Kepner. I'm a battalion chief. My assignment is Firefighter Recruitment Section. So this morning I'm here to provide an update on our youth redesign programs that we have been actually working on since January 2017. In order to provide a more consistent, standardized, and sustainable youth program, it was recommended that all the programs be placed under the leadership and supervision of the Firefighter Recruitment Section. This would also allow for consistent oversight and guidance by our senior project coordinator, who was hired in June 2017, and she's responsible for managing all of these youth programs. I'm happy to say that in August 2017, the cadet program was officially transferred from emergency operations to the Firefighter Recruitment Section. So before I start on my more thorough update, the recruitment staff created a slideshow of photos from several of our youth programs over the past year. I'd like to show that.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, go. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, bring me down, can't none bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd first like to talk about our cadet program redesign. Based on the recommendations of a very involved work group, current cadet advisors, the Firefighter Recruitment Section staff, and Recruit Services Section, the LAFD cadet program and standardized training and curriculum was implemented January of 2017. And here's what we've accomplished in that program. We've held 2 cadet orientations in 2017, one in the Valley Bureau and one in the Central Bureau. This consists of a 1-day orientation, a physical fitness tryout. All of the cadets and their parents or guardians sign waivers and instruction of rules, policies, and procedures for the cadet program, as well as each cadet trainee gets a curriculum manual distributed. Next, we had 2 4-session cadet training programs right after the orientation. And this is where the cadet trainees come in and learn about safety and professionalism of being in a fire station, code of conduct, expectations and uniform standards. They also get a life skills component where they learn goal setting, time management, and communication. Upon completion of this training program, the Level 1 cadet will then be assigned to a fire station cadet post where they'll have a good understanding and knowledge of how to work safely and effectively at a fire station. We've also created Cadet Bureau Coordinator, Cadet Post Advisor, and Cadet Post Fire Station expectations and requirements. So any fire station that would like to become a cadet post now has a list of requirements and expectations for them to follow. We've established monthly meetings and curriculum to cover one meeting in each bureau per month for cadets, and that will begin in January of 2018. We also had our first ever 10-week Cadet Academy in June 2017. This Cadet Academy will happen once a year, where qualified cadets will complete activities and tasks that are expected of an LAFD firefighter, everything from EMS, hose lays, ladders, physical fitness, and power tool recognition. This year we had 65 cadets graduate from the academy. The next step in the process we're looking at upon completion of the academy is for candidates to be able to join a train-to-hire program that we're looking into. Next, we created a cadet task book. It was developed with standardized certification levels for becoming a Level 1, Level 2, Level 3, and Academy qualified cadet. We currently have 13 cadet posts, 130 cadets in our program. For the future, we will continue to add cadet posts to reach our goal of 1 cadet post per battalion. We're also going to increase our number of cadets in each post and electronically track the status and progress of all cadets. Moving on to our Youth Fire Instruction Recruitment and Education Academy redesign. The primary objective was to build a curriculum based on current Youth Fire Academy lesson plans, in addition to incorporating firefighting activities, life skills, and mentorship using the fire service as a platform. The point of this was to create a pathway for interested members to participate in other youth programs. So this is more of an introductory level, and we hope to get these participants into our cadet program. We revised the title of the program to the Youth Fire Program and established objectives to effectively coincide with our youth program goals. Some of these include discipline, teamwork, leadership skills, first aid, CPR, and AED, basic instruction to firefighting equipment and safety equipment, career readiness with resume writing and interview techniques, and disaster preparedness. In addition to that, collaborating with East LA College, we're going to offer the Youth Fire Program to junior and senior students in the high school magnet program for that pathway as well. We will continue the recruitment of youth through high school magnet programs, girls' camp participants, inner city schools and neighborhoods as the next step through the youth development pathway. This fall, we will begin our Valley and Metro Fire Academies, Valley and East LA Metro Academies. It will begin April 14th, and this will allow for the girls' camp participants on April 7th and 8th to be a part of the program as well. In addition, the collaboration with East LA College will actually offer these juniors and seniors in the high school magnet program college credits when they complete the program. Next is our high school magnet program redesign. The recruitment staff has had several meetings with high school magnet program coordinators, school principals, and LAUSD board members. The LAUSD magnet directors have helped us to determine the roles and responsibilities and expectations for a successful magnet program. We've currently partnered with these program coordinators and instructors to build curriculum and lesson plans for 9th and 10th graders. Some of the curriculum includes discipline, lineup, uniform inspections, marching, Teen Cert, which we completed at Banning High School this year. And next January, we will complete Teen Cert at Wilson. We have inserted an anti-bullying campaign, first aid, CPR, and AED, physical fitness training program, and as you saw on the slideshow, the Great Shakeout Earthquake Triage Drill. We've established annual field trips to the Firefighter Historical Museum, Metro Fire Communications, local fire stations, and Frank Hodgkin Memorial Training Center. We've also established a cadre of firefighters to assist the recruitment staff in facilitating the magnet physical education classes. And fitness equipment was purchased and delivered to all of the high schools. As staffing increases, we hope to have a larger presence in these schools. Currently, we can attend the schools twice a week, but our goal for the future is to be able to be there every day as we expand to 9th through 12th graders. We are also working with the schools to offer electives of fire science in the 11th grade and EMT in the 12th grade. Next is a Crew 3 redesign. So members in Crew 3 are required to pass a physical fitness exam and participate in an 8-week, 56-hour Wildland Academy in partnership with East LA College. With the completion of the academy, each participant earns a California State certification as a Type 2 Wildland Hand Crew firefighter. December 9th, we had 30 new members graduate from this program. Once certified, the members of Crew 3 can be dispatched into wildland fires to participate in firefighting operations, which we saw in the most recent fires, in which they were dispatched to the Creek and Scurrball fires and assisted with fire protection on the line. This program is an additional pathway to a career with the LAFD. Next is Girls Camp. The recruitment section has been working in partnership with the Mayor's Office, City Council members, and the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation to standardize and fund 2 girls' camps per year. This camp is a 2-day introductory fire camp for girls aged 14 to 18 with the goal of instilling confidence, leadership, and courage in young women while providing awareness of a potential career as a firefighter. In 2017, we hosted 2 girls' camps, one in the San Fernando Valley and one in West Los Angeles, and we will continue to move this program throughout the city to offer it to these girls. Over this last girls' camp in July, we actually had 6 participants who came back and followed that pathway into the cadet program. So 6 participants actually completed the September cadet orientation and phase 1 training and have now been assigned to cadet posts. So our overall goal for all youth programs, this year we actually served 580 youth within our programs, and 58 of them attended multiple LAFD programs. So what we're looking to do is obviously increase the number of youth that participate in all of our programs, increase the diversity, get more young women involved, and also increase the number of youth that participate in more than one program, eventually ending up in our cadet program and potentially a train-to-hire program. I also wanted to note a few of the significant items that we've accomplished in all of our youth programs over the past year. We've created a standardization of liability waivers for all youth programs, a code of conduct for all the LAFD members working with youth, training for all youth advisors, which will take place in January. Electronic applications are being worked on currently in our CIA application for effective tracking of youth and liability, updating of the LAFD cadet website, development of an MOU established between LAFD, LAUSD, and each of the high schools in the magnet programs, which will establish expectations for staffing, uniforms, and curriculum. We've purchased containers for some of our youth program and continue to purchase equipment at all locations. We've collaborated with LAPD cadet coordinators and high school magnet program coordinators to enhance our policies and develop training. And then we had the approval of the cadet manual and driving certification process. The recruitment section will continue to evaluate effectiveness and redirect our efforts where necessary to improve the delivery of all LAFD youth programs. Currently, our biggest challenge to ensuring effective, standardized programs for youth in these programs is staffing. An increased staffing level will really assist us in providing the service in the high school magnet programs that these youth need as far as consistency and a firefighter being there every day. Pathways into each of these programs have been established by offering various levels of instruction. We have everything from introductory camps and orientations to more focused firefighting instruction and training. All LAFD youth programs provide an opportunity to develop leadership skills, gain confidence, serve their communities, and possibly, hopefully, obtain a career as a Los Angeles firefighter. I really want to thank members of my staff who are the ones who work diligently and tireless hours to actually develop and administer these programs. And that's our new senior project coordinator, Trish Arias, Captain Rich Carlin, our student worker, Jessica, and all of the staff in the firefighter recruitment section who help deliver these programs. That concludes my report.
Thanks. So I think we're making great progress with our youth programs since we last really had an extensive conversation about this, which was a while ago. And thanks to you and your staff for, I know you started working on this in August when you kind of jumped into this position. And it's been, I know it's been a great addition to have Trish be part of the team. So I'm excited that is working out as planned. Things that I think look really good. I'm really pleased to see, the growing integration between the youth programs, and I think that's going to go a long way to kind of developing this continuum that was part of the vision here of drawing youth in through kind of exposure, and then giving them an opportunity to really continue to grow in the department, and then ultimately getting to a train to hire situation where we can actually give the individuals that we've invested in an opportunity to be part of the department. I can't tell you how often I hear from people in the world in the fire stations who say, I don't understand, we have these cadets, they've given their heart and soul to this place, and then there's no opportunity for them. There's no credit given for that as we look at hiring. So I feel like that will be sort of the final piece of this. That's why it's really important, and it doesn't say it in the report. I want to make sure the report is amended to say that as part of the cadet program goals by 2020, that we do have a train to hire program. So I'd like to have that report amended to have that in there. I think it would be helpful that if in the next 6 months we've got something that we can work with our labor partners on and personnel, because both of those entities are going to be really, and we can't do it without them. And I think I anticipate there'd be support from both to try to look at creating something like this. So if we could put a goal of having something for our labor partners to react to by June, so that they can then really be partners with us in constructing a process that works for everybody. I think that would help us get to a place where, ideally, we have a partnership with labor, and we can go directly to personnel and say, hey, listen, we got this worked out. We just need you guys to do the technical work on this.
So what year did you want to?
So by 2020,
2020,
we would have be ready to have a train to hire program, because it will require some budget. So hopefully for the 2021 budget year, we would be budgeting by that year for a certain number of train to hire, which gives us some lead time to start to build. And if we can go faster than that, that's great. But gives us some time to really work something out that's going to work for everybody.
Do you see that being part of the cadet program or something different?
It should be part of the cadet program, yeah. And the reason why it makes sense in the cadet program is we have our cadet folks going through every aspect of the training of the department. We put them through an academy. They come out of that on the other side of our cadet academy really well qualified for it if they make it through that. I would see us, in order to be qualified to be a trainee, that they would still take, I'm just spitballing here, but, they would need to still pass the CPAT at that point and the firefighter entrance exam, and as well as getting a number of other requirements before they would have a training period. So, working out some sort of a system like that allows us to actually take advantage of the diversity that we're pulling into our cadet program, and then give those young people a chance to actually have some credit given for what they give the department for years and hours, those hours and years. On the magnet program, we have a lot of, as you've noticed, we have a lot of work to do here to make sure that the magnet programs are everything we want them to be. When do you think we can have an MOU ready for this commission to approve
For
for the magnet MOU with LA Unified?
Don't we? But we already have programs, right?
We have no MOU.
We have programs, but no MOU. And Trish Arias has been meeting with LAUSD and all the coordinators to develop an MOU. So if I could call her up and she could
Great.
answer that question for you.
Good morning. Patricia Arias, Senior Project Coordinator out of Recruitment Section. We're working with LAUSD at the moment, so we're hoping for sure by next school year, if not sooner than that, so that it'll be in place.
Okay, so I would ask that whatever MOU you develop does come through this commission for review. And I want to make sure that it includes a couple things in there. One is obviously what will they do, but also what are our commitments. So it doesn't make sense to me to launch programming with a magnet if we can't commit to dedicated firefighter at least 2 days a week for 9th and 10th grade, and then as we grow into 11th and 12th grade, growing that commitment. So I think we need, as much as we want LAUSD to be on the hook for meeting certain requirements like the curriculum progression and other things, we also have to make commitments in there. So that will be part of, because and there are long-term, obviously, budget implications. But I also think that since we as a department are putting in, we got major skin in the game with personnel, it is reasonable for us to say that the program should meet certain requirements there. And also, I just want to make sure that, right now it doesn't say it, so I want to make sure the report is amended to say that the standardization of the 4-year curriculum should include an EMT course for all seniors as their elective. So I just want to make sure that is adopted, that when we adopt this, we adopt it as amended with that as an expectation in that 9th through 12th grade. This is something that I think is one of the best opportunities we have as a department to support our youth in the city. If we can give them a career readiness certificate by the time they graduate high school, that is an incredible gift to students to be able to walk out the door, have everything but, have a course where all they got to do is go and show up and take the certification exam, and they get a job the next day as an EMT, whether they go to college or don't go to college. If we can pull that off with our kids, we will have done something really, truly transformational for a lot of students. And we talk about, at LA Unified, we talk about linked learning and college and career readiness. You want to talk about career readiness, like this is career readiness, is that you walk out the door having taken a certification course, and you can go get a certificate and go get a job the next day. That is so exciting to me, and it's really important to me that when we do a program that is one of our goals, that be in there. So I'm excited to see that added into the report here, that is an expectation that there will be an EMT course offered as one of the electives in 12th grade. How is the scope and sequence coming for our various? When should we expect that to be finished?
Well, we're hoping all this will be ready to go for sure for next school year. It is in process right now as we're working on it. Captain Carlin has been doing a lot of work with the coaches as well as the coordinators, and there is a teacher at Wilson High School right now that has already been approved with regular curriculum, and then Captain Carlin is also working with the coaches as far as the scope and sequence with our 2 days a week in the PE.
For the PE. Okay, so I would say for 9th and 10th grade, I don't want to hope, like we must have a scope and sequence prior to the start of next school year. Like that can't be an if. That's just got to be, it will happen. We'll have a scope and sequence by the summer. Yes, I know that the foundation in the past has offered to help support stipend and costs to defray, to help incentivize our partner teachers to be there. But we cannot start another school year without having a curriculum and a scope and sequence in place for at least our 9th and 10th grade PE programs. It's just not fair to our kids to not have that done.
Yes, agreed, sir.
Okay, so we have a commitment that we will have a scope and sequence.
Yes, sir.
By summertime.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. Crew 3, I remain a fan of Crew 3. I see it as something that is really important. I know that does remain within emergency operations. I think when we get there, I would love to see Crew 3 as a, in some way an integrated part into our advanced cadet program, particularly if we have that train to hire aspect going, that we're able to actually employ, if we have trainees, that some of them can be employed as part of Crew 3. So, I know that's a little ways out and everything in good time. So I appreciate the order you've put things in, but I am looking forward to seeing in the future where that goes. And then I also appreciate the tracking that you've got in here for the various programs and who's joining. I'd love for that to start to see more regular reporting on what our enrollment looks like in those things to make sure we are meeting the intent of the report from 2016. Because I think a lot of success hinges on whether we hit some of those numbers that you've put in here in terms of growing participation of girls and just general, hitting some diversity benchmarks in there. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I appreciate all the work you put in. I know this is, the youth programs. We haven't had the resources to give them the attention they deserve for quite some time. So I'm pleased that we have that now, and I appreciate all the hard work that you and the team with Captain Carlin and the rest of your group are putting in on it. And I look forward to seeing what more comes by next summer. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I would just like to commend the chief and her department for the work they've done. This is miles from where we started.
Yes.
5 years ago, I remember. So that it's, I'm really happy to see the progress is being made, because I think there's a lot of opportunities for us with our youth and changing not only the demographics of the department, but just making lives for youth better as in whole as they grow, whether they come into our department or not. The things that this department offers them as youth can help them. It's like we learned everything we need to know in kindergarten. Well, they will have learned everything they need to know in the fire academies to help them to be successful adults, which I think it's really a great thing. I was wondering, the commissioner mentioned the scope and sequence and different kinds of manuals that you might need to help to shore up your program. If it's possible to look at hiring teachers for the summer, is that what you're talking about?
What I'm talking about, yeah.
Because we have, I know there are people that are interested in helping to fund those kinds of efforts. And we have another whole semester. Teachers are always willing to work in the summer for pay. And it would be great because they have the expertise, as I well know, to really write and help you to get the curriculum side, the school side, together with the fire side. And so, if there's something that I could help with, I do know some people who have actually said they would be interested in working on financing, providing funding for to help with that, because it's not only the county, but the city. We're working together in some of these magnet programs, so we have their resources that are out there for that, if that's something that we can do. But we do have a semester to go, so by summer we might could get that done if it doesn't take us a long time to do it. All I need to know is just to say yes to the people who want to fund, because that's the key issue. But I really like the way that things are going, and I am very and all these things about being ready. The credit, I always thought cadets needed credit when they were hired, because I see so many of them in the stations who seem so eager, and they've done so much work, and they're polishing up things, and they've learned so many skills while they were cadets. I look forward to the time when we can actually offer them credit for their service when they want to be hired by the department, as mostly all of them do. I had this question on this cadet ethnicity chart, because there was it says for 2017 the participants, 2% of them were African American.
Yes, so in our cadet orientation and trainings, that's correct. We had 2.6%.
Oh, that's the number of people who just applied for the training.
Correct. That's just the ones that went through the training this last year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not over our overall cadet program. We're still working on gathering all the data on our current cadets and putting it in an electronic application so that we can get you that data next time.
Oh, okay, very good. I'd like to, I can meet with you and talk about it later, ways that we might be able to recruit more, because that's 2% is a rather small number. I'd like to see more in coming to the training.
Definitely. We're hoping to recruit some of the youth from our other programs, for more diversity into our cadet program, which is the ultimate goal, and then to get them hired.
And also, I know 6 is a good number. It's better than nothing. But from the girls' camp, I would like to also see more than 6 come out of there, because that program, the girls' camp, is really outstanding. And everybody I talked to said they were going to go to a cadet program. So I don't know what happened. But they, I went around and talked to each one of them. I'm a person who talks to everybody, individually. And so what's your next step? And they all said, we're going to be cadets. Some of them did say they were going to LAPD, but that was okay. They were still going to be in service. But there wasn't that many of them. So I don't know. Maybe we could try to figure out what happened to some of the others somehow along the way. With the girls' camp, it seemed like staffing, but you're only going to do 2 a year, but still staffing for that program. I know that most of the firefighters volunteer, right?
We got a lot of volunteers from other agencies that came to assist us, and then the firefighters from Los Angeles actually got paid.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. Okay. Because I know it's a lot of work. A lot of them came from their stations, and they go back to the stations, and they were running.
Girls' camp, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
girls' camp, yes. Correct.
Oh, good. That was good. That's good then. Thank you very much for your work. I look forward to hearing more.
Thank you, and I do
thank
want
you to Captain Carlin, because he's been very helpful in keeping us informed as to what's going on with youth programs in the city also.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say thank you for your support, from the commissioners, fire chief, command staff, and the cadre of members that actually work with us that aren't assigned to our section. We couldn't have accomplished all this without all of you and them, so thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, could I ask one last thought? When you do get to that MOU for the maggots, I do think it's important that the name be Fire EMS Magnet to reflect what we do as a department. So I'd ask that you just make sure that is part of the MOU, that that name becomes Fire EMS for our magnets.
Okay, yes, sir.
Thank you, and I want to appreciate Commissioner Woods' Gray's comments there. Also, I'm very supportive of all your comments on that. Okay, with that, I can.
Oh, I also just want to acknowledge all the work that Commissioner Nimberg does on this, especially on the girls' camp. She's not here today, but with and also Commissioner Glazier, because ever since we've been on the commission, this has been a great passion for him, and part of the reason why we've gotten to this point with our youth programs, and hopefully, the ultimate goal being, I forget what you called it, a train to hire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be great, because that's totally going to help our department and increase our diversity. So, good job with that.
Thank you, and yes, thank you to both Commissioner Nimberg and Commissioner Woods Gray, all of our partners here. A lot of support for this, and thank you again.
And thanks to you.
Oh, thank you.
I'd love to move to adopt the amended report and receive and file it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. So moving on to report by the department on FY 2016 staffing for the Adequate Emergency Response to SAFER grant.
Good morning. June Gibson, Fire Administrator with the Administrative Services Bureau. This item is a recommendation to accept a federal grant of up to $15.5 million to hire 48 new additional firefighter recruits who would begin training on January 22nd, 2018 to comply with the 3-year performance period from January 2018 through January of 2021. The grant requires a city match of up to $9.6 million, which breaks down to a federal share of 60% and a city share of 40%. The funding will enable the department to staff the 24 firefighter positions of 4 restored engine companies requested in next year's budget, and the remaining 24 grant-funded firefighters will replace sworn personnel who will be exiting the department by June of 2018. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
this is the SAFER grant that we've been hearing about for ever since the summer. And I took it off the consent agenda item and put it on the regular one because I just wanted us to get sort of a fuller explanation about what it is, and also to acknowledge our partners in labor who helped advocate for this. So with that, do you guys have any questions about this?
No, I'd just like to thank UFLAC and the IAFF for their support of making sure that LA got this grant, because I think having their support made us get one of the largest grants I understand that is given in the country. So, and I would also like for the department to thank IAFF for their support in this particular effort. I think that would be quite appropriate for us to say thank you for their help and helping us to get the grant at the same time. But I'm very appreciative of the fact that we have a working relationship with our labor partners, and that it brings us such monies as this, because it's something that we really could use.
Yeah, so it was one of the largest, was it the largest grant that was given?
Correct. The city was the largest recipient.
So, and we're very grateful for that. We're very grateful for our partners at Labor and, the former union president of UFLAC, who's now at IFF. I'm sure was very instrumental in advocating for it. So we're very grateful for that.
If I could add my comments too, this was a true team effort. Mayor's staff, Fire Stat, Drew Steinberg, UFLAC, President Gamboa, IAFF, 10th District Vice President Lima. Multiple people had eyes on, and the intent was to receive the grant. And to date, this is the largest SAFER grant in the history of that program. We've already started the wheels in motion for our application for the next grant. So I think it's a true example of teamwork and working towards a common goal. So I want to extend my appreciation to all the members of that team.
Is it possible that we could formally thank IAFF? I mean, just a letter from you or something would be.
We can do that.
Would be good, I think. Thank you.
Oh, we have a comment from Tony Gamboa, president of UFLAC.
Good morning, Madam President and honorable commissioners. Tony Gamboa, and I proudly serve as the UFLAC president. I'm here to speak of the SAFER Grant Award to the Department of the past August, the amount of $15.47 million from FEMA with the city match of $9.62 million. First, I want to thank the department for working together with the IAFF to work in partnership to help gather the facts during the application process. This could not have been achieved without the innovative leadership of the LAFD and the IAFF. This grant allows for the department to add 48 new firefighter positions and help restore the devastating losses from the department cuts during our last economic recession. As you know, the LAFD eliminated 330 firefighters in 2011, and these new SAFER resources will allow for the restoration of resources, including 4 additional engine companies, to help combat our ever-increasing emergency call load that now exceeds 481,000 calls for service base on last year's statistics. SAFER grants have been around for 12 years, and this marks the first year our department has received any amount from the federal SAFER grant. This year's SAFER grant was also the largest awarded to any of the fiscal year 2016 grantees. We applaud the efforts by the department to not only use this award to bring on 48 new firefighters, but also for the commitment to maintain the required staffing levels outlined in the grant guidelines. In doing so, our fire department will continue to serve as a gold standard by which other city fire departments are judged. UFLAC is committed to being your partner in this effort for the benefit of our department and the millions of people in Los Angeles that we are honored to serve each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's
We'll move to adopt the recommendation for item 5B.
Second.
all in favor.
Aye.
So now we're at 5C, which is the report by the department on the 2017 Coupa Evaluation Progress Report.
Good morning, Chief Terrazas, Commissioners, City Attorney Rafish.
Good morning.
My name is Roy Song, the Cooper Manager in the Fire Prevention Bureau. And today I'm going to give an update on our progress report for the state evaluation and also just a quick summary of our inspection performance over the last quarter. Today's report is very similar to previous reports where we made a lot of progress in clearing out deficiencies. We requested an early evaluation by the state in January of this year because we'd spent the previous 12 months getting ready and we felt we were ready for that evaluation. So during that evaluation, we received 6 deficiencies, fairly minor in nature, and by any means, that's a good evaluation. And so since that time up until today, we have cleared out 4 of those deficiencies officially. But then yesterday, I had spoken to Cal EPA, and the last 2 of the deficiencies, they said they're going to close. So for LAFD, that means that we have no more deficiencies in the Cooper program, and that's a big achievement for us. That's taken quite a few years, program improvement agreements, and just a really rough patch. So we're free and clear right now.
So that's an update from your report.
So I'm reporting on progress report number 2, and then just in the last couple of weeks, we had to submit progress report number 3 to the state, and we haven't received a response back yet, and that's when I normally submit to commission.
Okay.
But so they're just telling us verbally right now we've cleared everything for our deficiencies.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's been a long time coming. That's a lot of work.
And I remember when we first started with this, when we started in the commission with this, it was like
4 years ago.
Yes, there was like 70 deficiencies or something just outrageous.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact number, but it was
like
quite a bit.
everything. Everything
It
was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every point. So that's huge if we're finally going to clear it. And so thanks to you, because it's part of it is sort of rearranging certain issues and bringing the right leadership and bringing, and recognizing that we needed somebody who was, not sworn for the specific assignment to help us get this under control, and so it's remarkable.
So just out of curiosity, what happens now? So
now I stop coming reporting on deficiencies, and hopefully we can start reporting about program development, about going forward, some of the things that we want to achieve, and the things that we're talking about right now. And we're starting up a cannabis program already, within the Cooper, and that's probably going to branch out to other parts of the Fire Prevention Bureau. We took over an oil well inspection program pretty recently as well. We're talking about the hazard waste program from LA County. That hasn't happened yet, but we've made a lot of connections with people, including the state on that, and we have to go to the fire chief yet for a final decision on that before that happens. But that's something we're looking at as well. So there's plenty on the horizon for us, I think, and we'll be busy for a little while forward. Yeah.
So we're not going to get these Cooper reports anymore?
I hope not.
One of the things that came up, it was a deficiency that's been corrected, but something that seems like it could be an ongoing concern is just the education requirements for our inspectors. Will that continue to be something that is reported on to the state? And if we are missing that, will then that result in a deficiency for us in the future?
No. So they're sworn mainly in the UST program, and they do the hazmat as well. And so we have 14 inspectors in that program. We have a couple of inspectors too in plan check. We were able to get through that last evaluation with the education, and we're able. It was an observation they made that this is going to be an issue we're going to struggle with going forward, and so that's But I feel like our group is fairly small, and just with the the graduates coming through, that and a lot of new staff coming on board these days, inspectors actually have degrees and stuff. So I feel like we should be able to replenish that group and keep that group going.
if they fall behind, how would we know that we were like not hitting that target? Would we get a notice about that, or would that be something you'd report? Or
That would be something I would report on. And we have to do a self-audit of our program every year.
Okay.
That's something I would report to the state, like we're not hitting that target and what are we doing to correct that. So
got it. And so we would be also in the loop on that self-audit.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
And just while I'm here, I just want to thank the Commission and Chief Terrazas, Chief Mathis, Chief Crowley, and Chief Harvey, and all of the bureaus that support us, Admin Services Bureau and IT staff, and just the Cooper team downstairs, an amazing group that all kind of come together and made this happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I wanted to say it proves that when you have one person who looks at the one situation, you can really bring it into compliance. And so it's really good. This was a great thing that happened with having you there. But I suspect that you will be bringing more reports on the cannabis issue.
Yeah, there'll be a few other. There's a lot of stuff happening here, and we'll be coming periodically to give you an update on what's happening in the program and things that we'd like to do going forward. So, yes. Before I finish up, I want to just give a quick summary of our progress on our inspections for the last quarter. So, the Cooper works on a fiscal program, so we work on the fiscal year. So, for the last quarter, we had a 25% mark in all of our programs for the inspections, and we hit that for all the programs with the exception of the hazmat program, and we're about 5 percentage points on that one. And the reason being is that we had to move some resources out of that program to start up cannabis and start the oil well program, and we're trying to set up a hazmat response team as well, so there's a lot of training, and there are inspectors that we pulled out of that program to put them into training that goes for a couple of months. But I feel like we can get back on track again with that. It's not really a big issue for me. That actually concludes my report. If there's any other questions.
I'd like to add my comments too. Royce, great job.
Thanks, Chief.
The question previously was what's next? Royce has got a lot of ideas. Chief Crowley, Chief Harvey, and myself, Chief Mathis, we have to filter through those and decide which ones can we move on. And I see a tremendous source of pride of everybody in Koopa. All sworn and civilian. I see their Koopa vehicles. They even have Koopa on the side of their cars. They're so proud of being from Koopa. They've come a long way from where they were. So great job to you and your staff. We're very proud of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, move to adopt the recommendation for item 5C.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we have no public comment today, so we
Move to
can
adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Captain 2 Keith Stewart, and also our CAL FIRE engineer Corey Iverson. So if I could move to adjourn in their honor.
Oh, yeah.
Give it a second.
Second.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thanks. We're adjourned. Thanks.